Razaban, if IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Delighted to have with me Sky Sports' very own Mr. Adam Smith. Adam, firstly, how are we doing?
Very good. How are you? All good? Excited about tomorrow?
I am excited about tomorrow, but before the show I'm excited because Liverpool have got a big game tomorrow and it's Chelsea and it's the FA Cup.
I said to Ben, what are we doing? The semi-finals with the tournament in Coventry, the final, the FA Cup final tomorrow here. We're going to have to watch it on the big screen. We can't get there and back. But you know what? This is business, and we had a fantastic night in Coventry with the lightweights, and I think we're going to get a tremendous evening with the cruiserweights. But yeah, fingers and toes crossed for the second trophy of the season tomorrow, and then all eyes will be on, if there's any way, I think the Premier League is now well and truly out of our hands, but we look forward to Paris, and I know Ben and I will be doing everything we can to get there.
Likewise as also. Adam, obviously tomorrow night, I was there in Coventry and it was a fantastic show with the lightweights. With so many avenues now available, DAZN, Sky Sports, BT, Wasserman tonight on Channel 5, is it more imperative now that you get behind these young fighters and find those next superstars because there's so much more competition for yourself?
Listen, competition, I've always said, is fantastic. Sky have been in boxing for 30 years, and we've been in it for the long time, the long game, year in, year out. Others have picked and chosen a little bit. They've been come and gone, and we've remained, I believe, the sort of the solid force behind British boxing over a long time. But no, look, DAZN have got Eddie's huge stable. Wasserman have got the big deal with Channel 5. BT, what a night they had at Wembley. I was lucky enough to be there and be around it again with Fury and White. So there's huge competition. Competition's great. It's great for fighters, especially coming out of the pandemic. Fighters and especially the grassroots fighters who need to box, and some of the small hall shows didn't happen. Eddie did a great job, Frank did a great job. Everyone tried during the pandemic to keep boxing going in the bubbles. But what really suffered, I think, were the small halls. And you talk to some of the small hall promoters and managers, very tough times. So this is great. Competition is great. The more shows around the UK, the better. Great for the fans as well, great for the customers to have those choices, to have more boxing on, and it shows that where we are with the sport. But yeah, I think for us it's really important with our alliance with Boxer and with Top Rank to give all levels of different boxing to our customers. We just announced with Top Rank that we've got the Batebiev Smith and Haney Camboza's fights. This is the elite level, but what's important to Ben and I is not just the sort of Khan-Brook nights, which are fantastic, or the Eubank Williams nights, or that February we had, but also to really find the next stars, as you say, and just give an opportunity to novices around the country who may not have had that. And I think that's what I love about the Boxer stable, whether it's your Joe Pigfords and your Brad Rays, your almost unsung heroes. We're finding them, we're unearthing them, and then we're signing the best Olympic talent as well, who we believe will go the whole way. And I think to have that sort of mix of characters, and you've seen Corey Gibbs come through in Liverpool, you've seen Dylan Chima come through in Coventry, and don't forget the other 7 on each night as well, because they had great stories, they had great times, they have great experience, they can come again, and I'm sure most will. So it's a real chance for 8 guys, 8 authentic, down-to-earth guys, who never would have had this. 40k contract possibilities with Boxer, being on the big platform under the lights with Sky. What a chance for them, their families. They all come from different sort of backgrounds, different paths. Some are university students, some don't have to box. Dylan said that last time. He doesn't need to, but he does it because he loves it, and that's so refreshing. Others, have really had struggled time, difficult times, hard times, and this is their moment. This is they've got the boxing's in their veins as it gets to all of us. It's got given them structure, discipline, and now an incredible opportunity and a night out. But it shouldn't just be about tomorrow. It should be about how they take that on beyond it. So yeah, it is, I guess, unearthing future stars, but also it's helping support grassroots and getting fighters out again. I think that's really important.
Adam, when Eddie decided to go to DAZN, this is prior to leaving Sky Sports. Obviously, he went to America. He was overpaying fighters. He was overpaying Dimitri Andrade, Tevin Farmers, Devin Haney's, just to name a few. He's made a comment about yourself. Obviously, recently you've signed a number of Olympians, and it looks like majority of the Olympians so far have gone with Sky. About when he saw what you were offering them, he was like, whoa, astonished at the levels and the amount. But Are you forced to do that because you're trying to build that new stable?
Listen, it's a good question, and Eddie's got his business and we've got ours. You know, we were very successful together for 10 years, and he's got a huge stable of fighters, some very good fighters in there, and a global job, really. He's all around everywhere, you know, filling arenas with boxing. That's what he needs to do. It's very different, as he knows, at Sky. We've got all sorts of things happening on Sky, you know, from Sky Glass to Sky Broadband to Sky Mobile to Sky Showcase to Sky Sports. I mean, it's an enormous business, especially now under Comcast with NBC and Universal. So boxing plays its part, and I think what Eddie found was that, you know, it was a great platform for him and his fighters. But let's get this straight. You know, he took 50 odd fighters, and we went again. We had to start again. So Ben Shalom and I have been working really hard and really closely, and I think that it's important. What we've done is to sign, you know, select fighters. I don't think either of us wanted too big a stable, and I think it's, you know, that I went to meet the Olympians before they went to Tokyo. I had my eye on who I wanted. Ben did on who he wanted. Eddie's made a great signing in Galal Yafai, particularly. That was a tough battle, and we wish Galal well. He was really professional with that, I thought. You know, he talked to us afterwards. He said thank you, and there was a huge amount of interest on all the Olympians because it was the most successful team ever, and they had a huge choice. They could have gone one in many directions globally, and I know a lot of them had real problems sort of getting their head around it. They'd never been in those positions. They didn't really know who to talk to, or Rob McCracken or their families, or, you know, who I know Fraser had particularly. He was scratching his head. He was talking to his family, and, you know, he didn't know sort of where to go. He loved sort of being around Eddie's shows. He wanted to be on Sky. These were tough choices for all of them. Ben was a really hard battle, and you know, Lauren and Karis as well. But I said to Ben, look, I want Lauren and Karis. I think they're a fantastic power couple in the sport. They've got amazing charisma. I think Lauren's one of the great females we've ever had, and what a story. And Karis is in the army. That's a great mesh. I think Caroline's going to be an absolute superstar. I think she's got so much potential. You know, Fraser's like the captain, and we've got Tasha Jonas, who's almost like captain of the women. We've got an amazing, you know, women's and men's stable now, and I think that to get 5 Olympians, and especially Ben Whittaker at the end, because I think Ben knew he wanted to be last. It's almost like the icing on the cake. He's got that incredible charisma. He's got the skill set. He's got that Marmite factor about him. I think people are going to be fascinated with his journey. Have we had to pay a lot? Has Ben had to, you know, put his money where his mouth is? Yes, it's been competitive, very competitive. But we believe that we have the future, and that's really important. This is a building process. You know, when we were left with no fighters, we had to start again. We got a 4-year deal with Top Rank, which has given us real quality, but at overnight, at sort of, you know, antisocial times. And so it was very important while we built the UK business, you know, Boxer and Sky together, that we had that sort of, we had good content coming through, but we had time, Ben and I, you know, to go and look and see what we wanted to do. And for us, you know, we've invested in some experienced fighters, different levels of fighters. All have got different stories. We think we've got a fantastic eclectic mix, very important, both men and women. And I think that, you know, by landing the fabulous 5, as I'm calling them, you know, Lauren, Karis, Caroline, Fraser and Ben, you add Adam Azim and others to that, I think we've got a really exciting future. So yeah, listen, you have to pay for quality, and you have to fight hard for quality. And I'm very, very happy with where we are. I'm very excited about the next 2 or 3 years ahead, because I think the journey is going to grow and grow. There is huge competition, as you've said, and there's some very good fighters on other channels. Frank's got a great stable, Eddie's got a great stable, Wasserman have got a great stable, and this isn't even, that's just only in the UK. I was in America recently, and, you know, we had a fantastic fight night with Shakur Stevenson and Oscar Valdez, and I think you saw the making of Shakur. I think he's going to be unbelievable, but I wanted to be in New York with Katie and Amanda, and I think that's fantastic that there's so much out there for everybody. So I think that Eddie's got his lot. He's got his young stars who are going to come through. We've got ours, and it's healthy. Competition's healthy. We don't have to say, oh, you know, your guy's not as good as our girl, or your guy. It's ridiculous. You know, the fighters are winning. The fighters are winning because they're earning a lot of money. That's great. That's the best. The fans, the customers have got choices, and my job is to give the Sky customers, as great an output as I can. And a year ago, it was difficult because our great relationship with Matchroom came to an end. It was very tough times. I'm very, very close to Matchroom and the Barry and Eddie and Frank and great people to work with, and suddenly they were gone. So it was really tough. But fortunately, I've really loved working with Ben. He's very bright. He's very ambitious. He's great, and he's different to Eddie. He's relentless, but he's different to Eddie, and that's good. And he's got a wonderful team around him, Baz and Mason and everybody. They're a great lot. John Wischusen as well, who adds some experience, and he knows the game inside and out. And working with Top Rank and Todd and Brad and Carl, and it's great. It's just different, and I think you've got to go again, and we were always going to go again, Sky, and we've gone aggressively, and we believe that we've got the best platform in the UK, and we're hopefully building one of the great stables in the world, and these things take time. But I think it's a good, nearly a year of Olympic business. It's come to an end, and now the hard work starts, and trying to make these guys and girls the stars that we believe they're going to be. If we've been aggressive financially as well as with our intent, so be it. Let's see what happens in the next 2 or 3 years, because I believe we've made the right decisions, and I think the 5 that we've got from the Olympics are going to do extraordinarily well. And I think there's going to be some surprises from the rest of the stable that come up, and as there always are, that maybe people aren't talking about just yet, but they will be. So, and I reiterate, this is the long game. This is not about what's going to happen next month or the month after. We're going to continue delivering as good a fight nights and as good as tournament shows and as good as box office shows as we can on Sky, as we always do. June's looking already tremendous with, Devon Haney and Kambosos and Viterbi Evans-Smith and all of those. And we've announced June the 11th with Riakporhe and Turchi. Great fight night. Lauren's going to debut on that as well. Really excited about being back at Wembley. There's more to come in the next week or two. So, it's really good times. And I think, it's hats off to Eddie and DAZN. It's hats off to Frank and BT. It's hats off to everybody to have survived and sort of powered their way through a very difficult time with the pandemic. And to come out and be offering the boxing that we are on all the channels. Competition is absolutely fantastic, but we're happy where we are at Sky, and we've done good business, and we'll continue to build.
You mentioned there about your relationship with Matchroom is strong and was strong, and it is still probably strong. But business is business. It must be satisfying to see. I know that there's rumours out there about Anthony Joshua that he's going to stay with Sky, but also some of his new members to 258 have also signed with you. So that must be satisfying from yourself to see yourself.
Listen, I love working with Frank and Eddie. We had a phenomenal partnership, phenomenal relationship. It doesn't just end that. This is business. I've adored Barry and the whole Matchroom outfit for a long time. So it doesn't just go. It was really sad last year. It was actually really personally difficult. And then when we decided to go with Ben and Todd, and there's new business partners, and you invest. And I'm a people person. I like to get involved, and I give my all. And my all now is with Ben and Todd and the sort of Boxer and Top Rank and Sky relationships. I worked for Sky for nearly 30 years. My priority is to make sure that we get the best fighters, fight nights that we can on Sky. But of course, as you say, it's very difficult, and they're doing really well, and I'm pleased about that. I'm pleased they had a great week in New York with Katie and Amanda. It was a phenomenal fight. It was an epic fight, and while we couldn't be there because we had our own stories to tell that night, it was brilliant for boxing. And Katie was our pioneer on Sky, and we're very close to her as well. So it is, but you've got to put your personal feelings to one side. It's a bit like when we're all close to AJ over the years, and then he goes in and gets knocked out by Andy Ruiz. We've got a mic in our hand. We're independent. We're never biased. Andy Ruiz's greatest night ever. And that's the way it is. And then you sort of pick up, and see where the business goes the next day or the next week. But it's a difficult sport like that because you do get close to the personalities and the characters, and it could be a small business. So yeah, I miss the Matchroom lot, and they know that, and hopefully we'll be working with them again on ahead with AJ, and I work with them on the darts. I enjoy that. But I spend my time with Boxer now, with Baz and Ben and John and and Todd and Brad and the guys at Top Rank, because that's my business, that's my job. So it's it's a strange world, isn't it? But we do reconnect. And as far as AJ goes, I think that AJ will stay on Sky. I've been very confident that he will all along. Negotiations continue behind the scenes. We've got a great relationship, as you know, with Freddie and KD and Will and everyone at 258. So look, they're looking after Ben Whittaker, they're looking after Fraser Clark. So that's fantastic, and I think we'll hear more in the next couple of weeks, and we'll hopefully be able to move forward. But as I said, and I'll always say, I don't think Anthony will fight anywhere but Sky in the UK, and I hope I'm right. It's not official yet, and there's still work to do, but I'm very confident that we'll be doing the rematch, and I hope we'll be with Anthony for the rest of his career. He's a loyal guy. We love working with him. We've been good for him. He's been obviously very good for us, and that's a winning partnership. And he's with Eddie and Matchroom, and he's with us, and we'll go forward like that, hopefully.
You kind of made a bit obvious doing that by saying that Anthony Joshua is going to sign with Sky Sports, but a lot of people want to ask the question: is Sky Sports Anthony Joshua's affiliation with Eddie Hearn, which is going to be a lifetime contract now? Eddie Hearn's behind the zone. Eddie Hearn will certainly benefit by having Anthony Joshua on the zone. It'll probably increase the subscriber count. What is giving Anthony Joshua the motive of staying with Sky over the zone?
I think Eddie knows that AJ is a Sky box office fighter, Sky Sports box office fighter. I think he knows that. I think the brand for AJ is perfect. Nothing's been agreed, and who knows what will happen in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Things can change. I'm just speaking from my heart, and I believe that AJ will stay on Sky. It's not, as I said, it's not done. So there's no exclusive, there's nothing, and we'll tell everybody when it is. If indeed it is, because things change in boxing daily, as we know. But I'm confident. I know Anthony, I know Freddie, I know the team. I believe that he will remain with us. And look, if he doesn't want to be on DAZN in the UK, that's his decision. What he does worldwide, he's been on DAZN worldwide. Eddie obviously works for DAZN now. But, he's a businessman too. What about the darts contract that, I was in... we were in Sheffield last night, Glasgow the week before, and that's a PDC, Matchroom and Sky relationship. That goes on for some time, a number of years still. So we're connected with Matchroom still. It's just on the boxing side. It's business, and it'll work brilliantly for Spurs, for AJ Usyk 1, and I'm sure if everything's signed and sealed and we move ahead and we go back to our old Matchroom partners for a week or two for AJ and Usyk, then great, and we'll look forward to it. And it'll be a bit weird because obviously I spent so much time with Ben in the last year, and obviously in September it was more of a fledgling relationship, but it's business, and if it benefits our Sky customers, it benefits AJ, and off we go.
Just finally, Adam, announced today, I woke up to the news that Amir Khan has also announced his retirement from the sport of boxing. You've known Khan for a long time. You tried to make that fight many times yourself. But question one, are you firstly happy that they're both now retired? And two, any standout moments from both fighters?
Oh, blimey, how long have you got? Slightly emotional the last few days. I sat there in between the fighters after the long-awaited duel that took 10, 20 years to make. I mean, it was a great story, wasn't it? And it had a great outcome. Obviously Amir lost, but he went out on his shield, and for Cal it was just everything for him, wasn't it? It was almost like Amir had been inside him for all that time, that just almost like a disease or something. He'd been just... Yeah, it was a real personal thing for Kel, and he came out fantastically well, didn't he? And he boxed brilliantly, and I thought maybe Kel would go on because he sort of rolled back the ears. But I spoke to Amir just actually up at the press conference when the cameras were sort of talking to Kel, and I just said, this is it, isn't it? And he was like, I think so. And I said, this is the time, because you've got nothing to prove to anyone. So I was sort of secretly hoping, and as much as promoters want fighters to carry on and all the rest of it, I was sort of secretly hoping that both would retire, because it seemed the perfect ending. They hugged each other. It was all amicable after so many bitter moments, so many would it not happen. And Ben Shalom, well done to him to make it happen. It was an incredible night. That ring walk with the piano for all of the lights was just one of the great memories. Amir left me a voice note earlier on today, and just he basically said, look, everybody's telling me to carry on and whatever, but I think in my heart of hearts I know I should call it a day. And I said, listen, let's get our families together soon. And the same with Kel. It's nice the fact that we'll be able to reminisce. I've known Kel since he was 9.5, 10. I've known Amir since he was a teenager. These guys have been in our lives, and as I say, well, the danger of getting too close to fighters, we've got to stay independent. They've been brilliant. They both have been fantastic. They both have wonderful careers. As I say, where do I start? The ups and downs with Amir, the electricity he's brought to almost all his performance, win or lose. He's never ducked a challenge. I know he wanted Mayweather and Pacquiao, but he's gone over to the States. He's lived his dreams. He's had some great nights, some amazing nights, some not so good nights, but they've always been exciting, haven't they? And with Kel, I loved his fight against Kevin McIntyre when he won the British title on foreign soil in hostile territory. He went out to America, beat Sean Porter, then he went up to that sort of mad fight with Gennady Golovkin, and had to crash back down to try and make weight for Errol Spence, one of the pound-for-pound kings. I mean, he's had the eye problems, and both of them, I just think, have been fighters. That's what they've been. They've been fighters. They've done it from here. They've had plenty of skills to go with it. They've talked the talk. They've entertained us royally, and we've absolutely loved having them and being a part of their journeys. And it's a bit of an emotional sort of time, and I know my family will be saying, oh my God, Cal and Amir are both gone. It's like the passing of the torch. We had it with Carl Froch and George Groves and James DeGale and Anthony Croller and Scott. They all move on, and what you want is them to move on happily. You want them to be happy, to know that there's a structure for them beyond boxing, because they've got the rest of their lives to lead. But I think Amir's got a lot of stuff on. I think Kel's done very well financially. He's got a lot of support around him. He's got a great family. And we're always there for them. So I just want to thank them both for fantastic careers, and I'll miss them in the ring, but I look forward to many, many great times out of the ring, as I said, reminiscing and looking to see what they do with the rest of their lives. But they're indelibly connected with Sky. They're indelibly connected with me and my family, and I wish them nothing but health, happiness, and success in the future. And I thank them very much.
Adam Smith for IFL TV. Thank you very much.
Everlast, so the Team Everlast Fitness app. Download the Everlast Fitness app and find your greatness within.